I got another One Piece fight for y'all tonight. And this one is Sabo versus Marco. Flame Emperor Sabo versus First Division or former First Division Commander Marco the Phoenix of the Whitebeard Pirates. Let's get into this one. The environment is gonna be in Wano. They're gonna fight at Wano. We have physical strength going to Sadibo. Physical striking power. Sabo hits hard, right? So basically, when he grabbed that Vice Admiral Bastille, um, like he was probably like he was out, bro. Like he was fucked up, bro. Let's like not cap about that. He grabs his mask and he's like, this is your guy. Like I think I need to fight you instead. He was like, that guy was, I threw him the fuck away. You know, Marco's not hitting anybody that hard. Even when he hit Aokiji during, Marineford, Aokiji, dusted that shit off. He hit Kizaru. Kizaru was just acting like he was like, that kind of hurt. You know, really didn't hurt that much. Marco even knew it. Man, I got Sabo with the strength. Speed wise, I got Marco with the speed. He moved pretty quickly to block that, the light beams from hitting, Whitebeard. He was like, he got there pretty damn quick, boy. He was able to grab, snatch king and queen real quick moves with that. He's pretty swift. And I ain't saying Sabo's slow, some people, if you wanted to give it to Sabo, I wouldn't be too upset by it. I just think, Marco's a little more swift. We got durability going to Marco. He can take some damage, this guy can. He can take some damage. He can take some fucking hits, this guy. Not saying Sabo can't, but I got durability going to Marco slightly. Endurance going to Sabo. Sabo fought against Fujitora for a decent amount of time. Marco, he's been in his little skirmishes, He fought against Queen, somebody who was, actually weaker than him. But he was like playing games and shit, right? Because he's like also needed to like stop people from turning into monsters and shit too. So he's like, I have to fight this guy and heal people at the same time. Endurance wise, Sabo's been in a lot of fights. Intellect wise, Sabo's pretty damn smart. Out of his brothers, Sake brothers, he was the smartest one out of all of them. Um, we know this boy like was raised in fucking library. Like they're like, you're a royal, you're a noble, so you gotta read books and be above that other shit in Great Terminal and all that, right? You can't, you must read these books and be smart, and, get into good school and all that other shit, right? We know that Savo's like that. Marco, I wouldn't say he's smart, but Marco does have experience, boy. Um, you know, Sabo's a 22-year-old boy. Marco's a 40-something-year-old guy, right? He's been there, done that many times. He's been with Whitebeard Pirates for a long time, right? Or they disband, like Cat Viper came and was like, hey man, can you help us in Wano? And he's like, man, I guess I fucking can, and I ain't doing anything right now. He was at Marineford, he was at, a lot of places, man. Um, even before Sabo was even a thought. So I get Marco the experience. Close skills go to Sabo. It's something called the Dragon Claw. That move, that's gonna be doing some damage. You better trust that, son. With the imbuement of armament hockey, yeah, bro. Um, you can damage Logia, or even mythical zone users like Marco with that. And his hockey is better, bro. His hockey is better than Marco's. Um, Range skills go to Sabo as well. Marco's Devil Fruit is more defensive. That's why I gave him the durability as well. But Marco also has the recovery. What's the legend of the Phoenix? The Phoenix rises from the ashes and is reborn again, right? And Marco, he looks pretty good for his age. He's almost 50. Could you tell? Eh, maybe a little bit because he has those glasses, but you know, maybe without him you couldn't tell. Um, yeah, man, he has good recovery. You know, that's why when I made the video, I was like, I would have that. I would love to have that though. You could recover from a lot of damage with that. Because he was their doctor too. Recovery goes to Marco by far. Hacks still go to Sabo, like I said. Um, Offensively, Sabo has, you know, with his devil fruit, the flame fruit. And he can also use it defensively. He's smart enough to, come up with, some moves. Um, Armament hockey superior to Sabo's. And observation too. They both don't have Conqueror's hockey. But Sabo's hockey, you know, experience or potency is better. His usage of armament is better than Marco's. So Sabo wins that. And then the environment goes to Marco because he has experience being in the environment of Wano. But the winner of this fight is Sabo. Mid to high difficulty. Flame Emperor Sabo wins, y'all. But be cool, in the corner, and let me know what you think about this fight in the comments below.